Hey guys, I'm Melchi and welcome back to my channel. It's strange how when we have something important to do, we suddenly discover a million other problems to solve. Have you ever become extremely productive at one thing in order to avoid doing something else? This is what Rory Vaden calls as the second type of procrastination, which is creative avoidance. Unconsciously filling the day with menial work where we end up getting busy, just being busy. This is a more dangerous type of procrastination that is increasing among us, the student community. It's dangerous because it's unconscious, subtle, and invisible. As students, sometimes we chat in the name of clearing doubts or discussing, but we were actually putting off the things we knew were most important in favor of simpler activities that required less mental energy. And as a result, we're less productive. But at the end of the day, we feel like we worked all day, but then we didn't really get any desired results. We were busy all day, but we didn't seem to be making any progress. We were efficient, but we weren't effective. We were doing everything right, but not everything correctly. The true danger of creative avoidance is that it has no bounds. It may carry on indefinitely. Most of us know the story all too well. You have an assignment that you've been dreading, a looming deadline, but instead of working on it and checking it off your to-do list, you put it off by watching hours of YouTube or arranging your desk or organizing something. Creative avoidance camouflages itself by giving us the impression that you're making progress. It allows you to feel productive without having to prioritize. The chances that you'll spend the entire day on Instagram or TikTok or Netflix shows are slim. But you can get lost in creative avoidance for hours, even days. In order to overcome creative avoidance, you need to beat it at its own game. It's a pity that so many of our ambitions and ideals succumb to the mundane and meandering. If the actions you're doing don't have a clear goal or conclusion, you should quit doing them. If you feel yourself being drawn into the mindless activities of daily life, wake up! Here are 3 ways to rewire your brain for productivity. Accountability. Setting a deadline is one of the best ways to ensure that something is completed. Here's the thing. Most of us rely on others to set our deadlines, teachers, group leaders, etc. Then we screw around until the previous night. This has 2 drawbacks. First and foremost, we mismanage all of our extra time. We spread out into the space rather than filling it consciously. Secondly, we never learn how to be accountable to ourselves. When we finally decide to take the initiative, we fail miserably. The greatest minds in history did not create on someone else's timetable. Nobody cared as much about what they were doing as they did. Malala didn't wait for someone else to tell her to stand up for education. It wasn't a homework assignment for class. It was inspired by a vision she had in her head, and she held herself accountable. Break down tasks. Creative avoidance is most common at the start of a task. It begins when you persuade yourself that you only need to do one more thing before starting to work. After 2 hours, you still have not started. It occurs when you're overburdened. Break your task down into manageable bits. the focus entirely on the next most important steps. Small steps add up to big results. Take necessary breaks. Creative avoidance can also occur during the task. This is usually due to exhaustion. It happens when we've been working on something for an extended period of time. This is why taking frequent breaks is essential. You will eventually run into a wall. The more agitated you become, the more likely you are to avoid creatively. It's better to simply walk away, get some fresh air, work out, or spend time with friends, then return reignited. Making clean cuts implies that when we work completely. The same goes for recharging. We achieve neither if we allow the two to flow into each other. What are you putting off that you should be doing? What is the story that you tell yourself to justify it? If we recognize our patterns, we can start to change them. Keep yourself accountable, break things into small tasks, and take breaks. And when you feel fear, lean into it. The thing that scares you the most is exactly what you should be doing right now. Bye for now, and see you next week.